Actor Wang arrested for fake military exemption. Chen Yanxi and Chen Xiao announced divorce. Taiwanese tourists question rising costs of Japan travel. South Korea suspends new downloads of DeepSeek. European leaders to hold emergency summit on Ukraine. Aircraft carrier collides with massive tanker ship. Coca-Cola says it may use more plastic due to Trump tariffs. Fan wins $100,000 after beating Damian Lillard in three-point contest.
Hello, I'm Wade Lee. Thank you for joining us on Funday News. It is Wednesday, February 19th, International Tug of War Day. And here are your top stories. And for today's Taiwan's news. Taiwanese actor Wang was arrested on February 18th for allegedly buying fake documents to evade military service. After questioning, he was released on bail of 150,000 NT dollars. 9 other conscripts involved in the case were also released on bail. 3 suspects involved in the forgery were denied bail due to concerns over evidence tampering. Taiwanese actors Chen妍希and Chen Xiao, who married in 2016 after starring in The Return of the Condor Heroes, announced their divorce on February 18th. Chen妍希shared in a post saying, "Grateful for the encounter, wishing each other well in the future," tagging Chen Xiao. The couple's marriage lasted over 8 years amid rumors of separation. As airfare, accommodation, and food prices for Japan rise, Taiwanese netizens are debating whether it's still worth visiting. A forum post about the soaring costs during cherry blossom season sparked discussion, with many suggesting to avoid peak season or plan trips well in advance to save on expenses. And in global news, South Korea's Data Protection Authority said Monday that new downloads of the Chinese AI app DeepSeek had been suspended in the country after DeepSeek acknowledged failing to comply with some of the agency's rule on protecting personal data. The Personal Information Protection Commission said in a media briefing that the app's service will resume once improvements are made in accordance with the country's privacy law.
자체 분석 결과 국내 원론 등에서 지적된 제3 사업자와 통신 기능, 개인정보 처리 방침상 미흡한 부분이 있음을 일부 확인하였습니다.
The agency said the measure that came into force on Saturday aims to block new downloads of the app. DeepSeek's web service remains accessible in the country. The PIPC said the Chinese startup appointed legal representatives last week in South Korea and had acknowledged partially neglecting considerations of the country's data protection law. When asked about earlier moves by South Korean government departments to block DeepSeek, a Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson told a briefing on February 6 that the Chinese government attached great importance to data privacy and security and protected it in accordance with the law.
European leaders held an emergency meeting in Paris on Monday to align their position after the Trump administration said they would be excluded from talks with Russia to negotiate an end to the war in Ukraine. French President Emmanuel Macron's office said in a statement on Sunday that the gathering of several key European leaders aimed to address the situation in Ukraine and security issues in Europe by bringing together all the partners interested in peace and security in the region.
We are supposed to take some responsibility. Europe must sit at the table as well.
Shortly before Monday's meeting, Macron's office said he spoke with President Donald Trump but did not disclose details of the discussion. The leaders of Germany, the UK, Italy, Poland, Spain, the Netherlands, Denmark, and the European Union met at Paris's Élysée Palace for talks about the continent's security quandary. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte also attended. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is set to meet with Russian officials in Saudi Arabia on Tuesday in discussions that exclude Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who is in the neighboring United Arab Emirates on a scheduled trip to boost humanitarian support for Ukraine.
New photos show the damage sustained by a U.S. Navy aircraft carrier in a collision with a merchant ship last week. The warship USS Harry S. Truman docked at U.S. Naval Facility in Souda Bay, Greece, for repairs over the weekend following the incident near the entrance to the Suez Canal. Photo release showed damage to the exterior starboard quarters of the aircraft carrier. The Navy said the damaged areas included the exterior walls of 2 storage rooms and a maintenance space, a line handling space, the fantail, and the platform above one of the storage spaces.
None of the damage affects the ship's combat capability, and it has conducted flight operations since the accident last Wednesday night. A team, including structural engineers and naval architects, is conducting a detailed assessment of the damage and will implement a repair plan. The Truman collided with the Besiktas M, a Panamanian-flagged, 188-meter-long bulk carrier, in the crowded waters near the Suez Canal off Egypt's port said in the Mediterranean Sea. The merchant ship was also damaged, but no injuries were reported on either vessel. Former U.S. Navy Captain Carl Schuster, an instructor at Hawaii Pacific University, said such conditions leave little room for error.
James Quincy, Coca-Cola's chief executive, said the company may have to sell more drinks in plastic bottles in the U.S. if President Donald Trump's tariffs ends up making aluminum cans more expensive. This comes after Trump ordered a 25% import tax on all steel and aluminum entering the U.S., which could drive up the price of canned food and beverages in the country. In December, the beverage giant scaled down its sustainability target from using 50% recycled material in its packaging by 2030 to 35% to 40% by 2035.
Environmental groups have labeled Coca-Cola the top global plastic polluter for 6 consecutive years. The Coca-Cola boss also sought to minimize the impact of the tariffs on his business, saying the packaging is only a relatively small component of the company's costs. In recent years, Coca-Cola has been selling more products in aluminum containers as part of its marketing and sustainability strategies. Despite being generally more expensive, aluminum cans are significantly more recyclable than plastic bottles over time. The U.S. imports almost half of the aluminum it uses, according to the United States Geological Survey, so a 25% tariff on all imports is likely to make cans even more costly.
College student Jaron Barrios has a new claim to fame after defeating Milwaukee Bucks star Damian Lillard in a shooting contest, winning $100,000 in the process. Barrios and Lillard competed in the Mr. Beast 100,000 Challenge during the NBA All-Star Game on Sunday, where the 18-year-old made what he later called a life-changing shot. In the matchup, Barrios had to sink 1 3-pointer from the logo at half court before Lillard could make 3.
The veteran point guard had made 2 successful attempts when Barajas drained a buzzer beater with his final effort, sparking a frenzied reaction from fans inside Chase Center. Among those who witnessed the moment was Shaquille O'Neal, who embraced Barajas while jumping up and down, and Steph Curry, who laughed in disbelief as he watched from courtside. Barajas, a freshman at Los Medanos College in Pittsburgh, California, said, "This is going to mean the world to me. It's going to help my family a lot and definitely my future. Hopefully, it'll help me pay for my education." After making the shot, Barajas was lifted onto the shoulders of mascots, plunged into a box of cash, and showered with banknotes.
The answer for yesterday was B, undermined. The constant criticism began to undermine his confidence. Did you answer correctly? Now let's delve into today's news. Coca-Cola says it may use more plastic due to Trump's tariffs. Number 1, sustainability, 可持续性. The company is committed to sustainability by using renewable energy resources. Number 2, component, 组件, 成分. The engine is the most important component of the car. Number 3, consecutive, 连续的. She won 3 consecutive championships in tennis. Next, we have a multiple choice question for everyone to practice. You can write your answer in the comments section, and the correct answer will be announced tomorrow. Tug of war has ancient origins and has been practiced in various cultures throughout history. Added to the Olympic Games in 1900 and subsequently dropped from the Games after 1920. The Tug of War International Federation now oversees games for at least 70 member countries, and it is still a sport that is played in the World Games every 4 years. And that's all for today's Funday news. Be sure to tune into Funday news from Monday to Friday and click the link below to join Funday for free. I'm Wei Li, your host. I'll see you next time.